justice, one of the major factors, because if it wasn't for them, we as a nation would not exist. Okay? That's number one. Now, we over here at nation business. I'm gonna get to that nation business and everything. And I don't know if I do curse, I apologize to the media or whatever, but I'm gonna try my best not to. On another note, the parliaments, June, July, and August is gonna be in Medina. Right? June is gonna be at the top on the monument. July and August is going to be on the bottom. The reason why we chose this time to do August at the bottom is because we had a situation that happened last year with the Rainbow Coalition. And some of the people feel, some of the brothers and sisters feel that we don't need to be having the children, which for what I see is none here. But they think that, you know, being this in Medina, more children come out. Which I know they come out for Children's Day, and also they come out in August because we do give them backpack. So they don't want to put that stuff that they see that, like, for whatever reason, they think we're together or anything like that, which we're not. However, if any one of us or a lot of us come together, we won't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't see as a problem. Let them do that, because in our family, we physically have people that's about that lifestyle. So, again, June is on the top of the monument, July and August is on the bottom. In Medina, over there by where we barbecue and stuff at. Now, it's a great point. I'll be hearing some of the questions over here about the school. A brother left. He had a valid question. I love my brother Bilal and all the other brothers that's doing this task to make sure 21-22 get built, and I love them for that. The only thing is, it's too many people with obstacles. It's too many. This group want to do this. That group want to do that. That group want to do this. I wasn't here, but my elders always taught me when the Lord was here, there was none of that. And the Father, and I heard from my elders that the Father said, if you want to see me, you have to be one. So what the hell is Bilal is doing something, and then you got Father Supreme from Rehoboam to do something else with ABG, and then you got somebody else trying to do something else. Where? So how we gonna be one? And the one that should know better is ABG. So what we doing here? What we working with? How is we gonna come as one when ain't nobody in the same mind frame? And that's my wisdom power. So I ain't got to tell you mathematical wisdom power, because we here for that main reason. What are we doing? I see the Muslims. They have one person in charge. That's why I love religion, because ain't nobody going against nobody. They all submitting to one person. When the law and justice was here, everybody did what he said. I said, for some, as my history goes, because I got 1981, there were some rebellious brothers, but however, they was there. We can't go against what they learned or didn't learn. This brother may have learned that brother learned this, but they came together. When they say Allah Akbar, you ain't see them beefing with each other. What the hell is this shit that we got going on in different states? And we talking about we won. There's a brother named Knowledge Divine, originally from Cream City. He told me, when I asked him, yo, why is it that these parliaments here look so that? I said, you're virtuous. You ain't even see the works y'all did, man. It's not supposed to stay there. I said, what? He said, no, it's supposed to branch out. Go to Houston. Go to Milwaukee. Go to Seattle. Go to Detroit. Go to Atlanta. Go to all these cities. What they doing? They building. Why? Because the people that was here went over there. I'm not standing in front of no camera. You could cut that shit off if you want. I said, you here, right?
Yeah, nah, that's
I'm saying, you here?
Yes.
All right, so you relate the message. Verbatim. Don't try to tell me same way my brother Bilal said. He didn't say nothing about money being given to the city. And the brother sitting right here. Where he heard that at? And we all here. I'm like, nah. That's what made me even want to get up faster. Whatever someone says, you have to be able to say it verbatim. If you don't have it, it takes days to understand where you at, what you're doing, what you're learning. Because this is supreme mathematics, this nation here has high science. We deal with high science. So of course you're going to hear certain things that you may not have heard before. Oh yeah, so now you try to remember what this brother said, what that brother said, what this brother said. It happened to me. When I got 1981. So I'm like, wow, I'm sitting in this, I said, well, let me come with my paper, my book, and I'm writing stuff down. I'm writing stuff, oh, this brother said this, all right, when I get home, I used to be sitting down, wow. 2 days later, I started reading that stuff. Why? Because I'm still on that high. Where's the people that we try to emulate, because everybody here is over in their 40s or 50s. Everybody. Everybody that's here now has somebody they want to emulate. Who is here now to have somebody emulate them? I'm glad we on the internet. For whatever reasons. Regardless of earth. All them other stuff that people want to say, yo, we should make that a museum, and we should do this, and we should do that. No, you know what I want to do? Because everybody in construction know this, but I work construction. That's not no land to try to build off of. And there's nothing there to be a museum. So what museum are we talking about? Taboo, and I'm going to speak to Taboo because Taboo was here way before me. What is there now that was there when you got knowledge? Us. Oh, that's us, right? I said that building, 2122. What is in there now that was there when you got knowledge? You could take off the drop ceiling they did, and you could try to see if you see the stars with the names there. You could try to do that.
It's still growing. It's growing.
Huh?
It's growing.
Huh?
There was a couple of curtains.
A couple of curtains.
And I've been very respected.
Well, the building is still there, God.
Oh, the building. That is the building. Oh, the building. So it's not a museum. So it's not a museum. Forget about that. So what I'm trying to tell you, it's not a museum. So you got to destroy that, flatline it, and build it from scratch. That'd be the cheapest and the best way to do that project. Okay? That'd be the safest way. Because if you try to say this and say that, no, the structure's not there. The beams and the columns that's there is not ready for that. Y'all know that. It's like, I'm going to give you a perfect example, right? You have a man with a tumor in his head. The tumor, the man is walking around with a tumor, it's 2122. You got people giving them aspirins. Now, take this there, take that there. You're giving them aspirins, right? When he needs operation. What we working with? You need an operation, but no, you want to give aspirin. So, or that, oh, we could do this. It's going to cost us $50,000. You got a couple of brothers say, oh, I got the 50 racks here, man, no problem. Oh, no, God, going to take another 50. Now you got 100. And y'all keep putting the Band-Aid, 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 Band-Aid. You're going to go to $1 million and the building's still going to be the same way. We got to all come together, trust one person, one group, and then we say we want common cause. I don't know. Next month is the show improve. There was a brother here that said, ask Bilal the question about transferring the papers. Okay. In order to transfer something, you got to have it, right? So y'all think about that. Not even on that. Please bring the babies to Children's Day, which is in July, and y'all could bring the babies to August because there's a gift of a school gift back. Peace.
Divine Equality, Delaware. I want to make an announcement that the firstborn earth of divine equality went back to the essence. Okay? This is the earth that I taught. Okay, so I have a personal connection between her, her family, her mother knows this nation, loves this nation, her babies, her sisters. Okay? She was a foundation in divine equality for teaching this knowledge. Okay? As to apply to today's mathematics, this is the power of the immortal God. Okay? She showed forth and proved by living out these sciences each and every day in Delaware. And she taught a lot of people. Okay? She brought a lot of brothers and sisters to the nation. She traveled all over. And I want to make this born to everybody that, you know, the family could use some assistance in regards to the funeral and everything. We all come together as one. That's what the wisdom is about. That's what the power is about. That's what God is about. That's what the Father taught us, to come together as one in regards to this nation. Okay? So, just on some history, you know, the Wisdom Degree to 136, because I came to the wilderness of North America by myself. Well, I came to the wilderness of Delaware by myself. Okay? There was no God in Delaware when I came there to teach. She's one of the first sisters that I ever built with who held it down in regards to the sciences. She studied her lesson very, very efficiently. And God knows, she laid the jewel on him. She laid the jewel on many gods and us in this nation. Okay? So besides me, you got Aiden Leak, who's putting out some information in regards to the earth and to the family. I got a link as well. I got a banner that the gods up here now, as well as the gods of divine equality together that we're going to put on the casket. The funeral is June 6th, divine equality. I have the address and everything. If anybody wants to get at me, you can support the team and support our family. Right? Peace. Hey.
All right, family, peace. Hey. I have an announcement on the international, the 5 Nation of Gods and Earth International Conference 2025 will take place October the 11th in 2 places. We're going to be at the Harlem State Office building. That will be where the presenters from all the regions of our nation will be. Now, mind you, we have regions 10 and 11, Central and South America. Most of them will be coming in virtually. But the presenters, which the state office building only accommodate 120 people, will be at the Harlem State Office building on October 11th, 2025. And we will also have at least 300, we have accommodation for 350 people to be at the Schomburg Library, right, on that same day, at the same time, from 11 to 6, at the Schomburg 350. Now we're going to be having registration for the Schomburg Museum at the Show and Prove on Sunday, June the 8th. And we will also be registered if possible at the cookout on the 7th, right? This conference is very important. I'll tell you why. In 2022 at the Show and Prove, we brought in the regions 10 and 11, Central and South America, right? Myself, Unique Supreme, Laquan from North Carolina, we facilitated a Zoom call where they came in, right? And we had a chance to meet some of them that are in Central and South America, right? That represent themselves as being a part of our nation. From that time there, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if we could have our entire nation under one roof? That was my vision. You know, and for a year and a half, I worked on it. I thought about it, saw the feasibility of it, but it was not until I got connected with gods in North Carolina and Virginia, right, that helped me to make this possible. It is being called the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth's International Conference 2025. the purpose of it is that I want to know who's who. I want to know what's being taught. I want to know where y'all stand with the growth and development process that began here in Mecca in 2001. Because let's face it, man, you're in North Carolina, you're in South Carolina, Virginia, what have you, over here, you over here. Are our teachings consistent? Is our culture being lived up? Our culture. See, many talk about Islam, talk about a culture, but do you know what our culture is? Do you know, man, the roots of our history? Where we're going? Because it seems to me that a lot of us are going a whole lot of different places. And we're not accomplishing anything except from self-aggrandizement that I'm God. That I'm God. Well, if you're God, you got to have the proof. You got to have a plan. You got to have something, man. I see a lot of our children going another way. They're not coming here. And what the God said is true. That many gods that were here, they went to different parts of the country. This is why you have building going on. But where's the consistency? You know, I mean, the devil has an agenda. We have an agenda as well. We have an agenda as well to teach the truth about God and devil. That's true, but it implies something else. It implies, man, going into the future and having things that make us qualified as a nation. Not just talk, but to have things of substance, land. Oh, okay, I'll do that now. Land is the base of all power. Resources, genuine resources that come from the land. So that you'll have, man, the ability to do trading, so that you can sustain your nation, so you can feed, clothe, and shelter your nation. Many think, man, we're an organization, but we're not. We are a culture. We are a culture, because face it, man, that one day the vice president's spacesuit is going to be out here, and yours will too. But what do you leave? What do we leave of substance for our children to have advantage of? Many of them are very dissatisfied. So we say, man, we advocate, go to school. Here in New York City, man, you go to any high school graduation, where are the boys? Where are our young men? Well, they get their GED and they're behind bars. What's happening? Why is it that I can go to any high school graduation in New York City and I'll see more Indians and Chinese and Japanese and this and these and that, but where are our children? How are they faring? They talk today about the mental illness that's affecting children, social media and this and that. You know, I look at it, man, some of them are so weak, they're not built like we are. You take their cell phone away, they want to commit suicide. You have to think about it. You know, what are we supposed to do? This is the reason why I say, man, I would like to know exactly what's being taught throughout all these regions. Because we know there's a growth and development process that was put in place by our nation. We approved it, and it's been refined, and we're working towards it. But let's face it, man, that numbers physically don't last forever. We've got to think about the future of our nation and where we are headed. Because we're adding on. I met people, I met a young man from China that's manifesting our truth. You know, and it's not just us. We're in all ethnic denominations, man. So that's what I want to say. Just keep in mind, man, that we're going to have registration orders at the Show and Prove weekend. We're going to have merchandise to sell because we're doing a fundraiser. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be your opportunity, man, to witness history being made. Right? It was no small effort that we were able to get the state off the building because you don't know the process that we had to go through. We had to have this and that. But we pulled through, and we've secured the Harlem State Office Building and the Schoenberg Library for that day, right? And a lot of mathematics has also asked me to make an announcement about the Show and Prove, right? Yes,
At the Schoenberg, it's going to be the same time as the State Office
Right, right,
What's going to be commencing between both of those sites?
right.
Like the Stronghold.
Right, well, there's gonna be a media link, right, where you'll be able to view what's happening at the state office building at the Schaumburg Library. Right, the God Lord Janelle, his TV network, 7 on Demand, will be broadcasting that. We're also gonna have, be able to link into the Wise Network. This is where we'll be streaming that event from. Right? So just to make you aware, and more will be revealed during the weekend of the show and proof. And that's my announcement. Peace, brother.
Peace, God.
Peace.
Peace alongside the Lord's Island. Today's mathematics being wisdom power. Today's alphabet being Y. And I would say Y equals self. Beat this, right? Y is the chromosome of the original man. So a 5 is 7. So Y equals self showing the proving you originate. But Pete, right? I wanted to build, the God was just mentioned about the building the 11th region in South America. That's section D of the Montevideo Convention on the Rights of Indigenous States, showing the capacity to enter into relations with other states. So what I want to go into today was, and Pete, right? Anybody that has questions, if you're getting up, walking out right now, don't come back 17 minutes later, 15 minutes later, and ask me questions when you missed the whole bill. I watched the last Parliament, peace, God, let me record it. I watched the last Parliament, brothers got up and left when I started talking. Then they came back like 15, 17 minutes later and asked all these questions. God, you done missed everything that I built on. So, and then we said mathematics is our foundation. I want to manifest that. A foundation, we've been saying for many years that mathematics is our foundation, because we understand that mathematics, if it's a foundation, it's to be built on. You ever seen a cement block, where they lay a cement block, right, and you walk past that cement block, that's called a foundation. You're wondering in your mind, what are they going to build on that foundation? Is it going to be a school? Is it going to be a hospital? A boys and girls club? A school for a nation of gods and earths? Because we're not boys and girls. We're supposed to be gods and earths, not boys and girls. We're not the nation of boys and girls, we're the nation of gods and earths. So therefore, they want to know what we're going to build. The 85% and the 10% looking at us like, yo, what they're going to build on that foundation that they say they have. So what I realize is that more so than mathematics being a foundation, mathematics is the tools to build your foundation. And keep this, before you lay a foundation, right, and I'm pretty sure you know God's saying construction, no, right? Before you lay a foundation, you have to do what's called an excavation. Meaning you have to till the land. You have to make sure everything is level. You have to make sure there's no rocks and things like that and so forth, right? So that's called an excavation, right? So before we lay a foundation, where's the excavation? And then even in the foundation, we say knowledge, right? Knowledge is to look, listen, observe, also respect. Read means to do again, spec means to look. So to respect means to look again. So after you look, listen, and observe, you gotta look again. Because it's a consistent thing. And I learned that knowledge is a degree of activity that exists within the mind. Some people are moving at God's speed, some people are dealing with slow gases. Pete, right? I gave a reference to my website. I'm not referring y'all to my website for likes or to try to go viral. That's where the information is. So month after month after month, I've been referring y'all to my website, Lord Messiah on YouTube. Go to the post section and you can see variations of all this information here. So I want to go into this right here, right? A lot of things we were building on as far as the protections we need as a nation, things we need, land rights, and I am broke down and manifest all of this. First thing, first and foremost, I keep speaking about the Montevideo Convention on the Rights of Indigenous States, right? So the Article 1 in that convention speaks about the 4 elements that create a state. That's A, a permanent population, B, a defined territory, C, a government, and D, the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Now I'm going to go into 120 so we can see this in our lessons. This is what I've been studying and drawing up. So let's go to the 1 to 10. We already know what the original man is, we know what the colored man is. Let's deal with the permanent population. The understanding degree says what? What is the total population of the original nation? Nation is synonymous with a state, or it can be once that nation declares its statehood. In the wilderness of North America and all over planet Earth. Answer, total population of the original nation is in the wilderness of North America, 17 million with the 2 million Indians, making a total of 19 million and 434 million all over the planet Earth. Now, that was in 1934, so we know in 2025, we got to update that population estimate. So therefore, you know, I drew up the declaration to do that. The Montevideo Convention I keep speaking on, that I don't know if anybody ever goes and researches that. I'm going to say it one more time for the record. The Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States. When y'all see the video, go back and look that up, because it's breaking down the articles of what this declaration is about. This declaration basically defines those 4 elements and more of the permanent population, defined territory, government, and capacity and in relation to other states. So, they also mention the total population of the colored nation in the wilderness of North America and all over North America. So that's dealing with the de jure population, which is the original nation, and the de facto population, which is the colored nation. And the colored man is not only colored because he's grafted, he's colored also because he's here operating a government under the color of law. What is the color of law? The appearance of law. So he's appearing that he presents the law. But we as the original nation have to declare our statehood so we can manifest our law. So after we declare the declaration, we have a constitution because a state functions over the constitution. I've given that to the members and our different boards, and they can get that copy. We also have a universal treaty for peace, freedom, justice, and equality. This is going to protect all the different regions under, as the God said, we come under one house. Under the Constitution for law of opposite nation state, we come under one house under that Constitution. That will be a national Constitution, and in each individual region, which becomes a state, has its own internal Constitution, which is going to be in sync with the original Constitution, so that we will be governed equally. It's not different laws in different regions. Maybe some different things based on different states and so forth, right? So this universal treaty for peace, freedom, justice, and equality, we speak about that in lessons 2, the powers of 114. Let me finish the 1 and 10, right? So, the defined territory. We go into the equality degree. It says how much useful land is used every day by the total population of the original of the planet Earth. So they combine the defined territory and the permanent population in that degree right there, the equality degree. So the God degree says how much is used by the original man. Answer, the original man uses 23 million square miles. How much is used by the colored man? Colored man uses 6 million square miles. Now, we got 23 million square miles, and you mean to tell me we can't define a little piece of land and declare a jurisdiction there? To declare a state, we got 23 million square miles. That's been sitting in our lessons since 1934. In fact, they could have declared Nation Islam, who does everything right as that, they could have declared a nation state in 1934, because the Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States took place in Uruguay, December 26, 1933. Nation Islam came out with supreme wisdom 1 year later. They could have declared that in 1934. So now we in 2025. Lord Messiah is coming with this information. So we also got the Board for Divine Trusteeship, which is also going to bring all the regions under one house, because when we have a form of governance, now the Board for Divine Trusteeship, right? The Board for Divine Trusteeship is going to be our form of governance, meaning an administration that governs each region. When we have a formal form of administration based on international law, this is how nations govern themselves. What is international law? Right? International law is a system of treaties and agreements between nations that govern how nations interact with other nations, citizens of other nations, and businesses of other nations. So we also got the Alive and Justice multinational franchise, which is a franchise where we can have a gross domestic product where we do international trade to show our capacity to enter into relations with other nations through trade. So we got that on deck, y'all. All this stuff we talk about, God, it's here. We need boards of trustees to come together and read. Now we're saying we have agreed, and part of my energy, this may not be for y'all specifically, but I've been exhausted my energy, man. And it's like, come on, man. Am I talking to who am I talking to, man? We say we're the wisest nation on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we can't be sitting here twiddling our thumbs month after month after month. How many months is going to go by? You know how much work I do in one day pertaining to this administration? Like, God, this all, And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because we need help. I remember 20-something years ago, I was sitting in those seats, and there was a God up here, and he was talking about, yo, God, I got this program for the babies. He had the buses, he had the events ready, but he needed adults to help supervise the babies. And brothers were just sitting there, you know, we always talk about we for the babies are the greatest, but nobody helped this man with the babies. And I'm like, yo, we gotta stop all this talking that sounds good, because it sounds good. And we walk around New York City with our universal flag, we puff our chests out, the black man is God. Exactly, God won't build or destroy. So are we building or are we destroying? So I want to introduce this as well. Consensus voting. Consensus voting is a decision-making process, a process where we make decisions of deliberation and agreement where no party disagrees, but that differences of opinion, interest, and perspectives are allowed to influence the eventual outcome of a matter. See what I'm saying? So therefore, we have to do deliberation. We have to go through the pros and the cons. And after that deliberation, we come to an agreement. We don't do that, we agree to disagree stuff. Because ain't no agreement made after that. You know what I mean? So we talk about safe school, right? I spoke about the declaration of claim for adverse possession by Allah's 5% nation across the earth. There's a 5% act you see right here. Back in the case, this is 1993 it came out. It says our first goal is land. Land and adverse possession. What is adverse possession? Adverse possession is when you possess a land in an adverse manner, meaning it could be through a hostile manner, it could be through simple occupation, it could be through trespass knowingly, and many other forms. We've been doing that for over 50-something years in the law school. And according to the real property, let me give y'all the laws, right? This is
Gotta stop you right there.
Please,
brother. You haven't been doing that in the law school. No, we haven't, bro.
well, the action.
The mayor's papers there. We haven't been doing that in the law school, bro.
Now, I have clauses in here that states that.
Yeah.
Please, God. Yeah, I'm going to point that out. I have clauses in this declaration that states that the adverse possession is in effect since we've been doing the action of it for all this time. However, once that lease is up, then this will be another layer of protection that's in place. So therefore, it's like nothing is there, and then the city just comes to take it. Also,
Stop you again.
yeah, no,
That lease is not going to be up.
okay. Well, listen, God.
That's our land. bro.
Okay, God.
There is no lease.
Please, God. So what?
Come on, let the God build,
No,
man.
no, 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 no. What he
Yeah.
said is valid.
Continue
He said.
to
So
build.
listen,
You can build, bro.
I
Build.
build.
You can get up in
I'm
our
going
law.
on the Department of Finance. Anybody can type it in.
We know,
right
that's
now.
all of it was already said. Let's keep building.
Go on the Department of Finance, and you will see that 2122 is labeled as a miscellaneous religious facility. Although we say we're not a religion. Did you know that? Also go on there and you will see that since 2022, the city has been paying the property taxes on 2122. So when someone else is paying the property taxes, you do not own that land, God. That is the legality of it. Not how we feel, not as far as I'm concerned. No, that is the legality of it, God.
Build, bro.
So the purpose of this declaration for adverse possession, for the legal aspects of the matter. So we're dealing with what's known as we got the real property action and proceeding laws, the RPA. 501 deals with adverse possession. So if y'all look that up, Google it on your phone right now. Real property action and proceeding law. 501 adverse possession. That and many other laws are in here declaring our right to adversely possess the land. The declaration is drawn up, y'all, and on top of that, we got a deed, not a deed, a deed of trust, a deed in trust, where to after we make the claim, which look, right now, look, if we always hope we gotta agree, right? I can go and file this declaration right now, go to the courts, and get a claim for the whatchamacallit. But you know what brothers and sisters do? Who told you you could do that by yourself? But I'm sitting here calling on the nation so we can sit at a table and make an agreement because we have to save our school. But we want to sit around here and twiddle our thumbs for the next month, after month, year after year after year.
God.
And we ain't gonna do nothing.
God, you came a little late. So regards before you came, got up and spoke about those things that you're talking about. That's what it is. That's in the works.
Did they show the actual documentation to make it happen?
They're
Or they
acting
just
on
talk?
what you're talking about. No, it's not correct.
Now,
They're
I'm glad
acting
you
on it.
mentioned that.
Well, go ahead.
Whoever's acting on that, right? The reason why they don't present, let me say it like this. The bill degree in the 1 to 14 asks, why does the devil separate our people from their own social problem, right? Keep our people apart from their own social problem. Answer, does the devil want to say how filthy he is in all his affairs? He's afraid that once we learn about him, we will run him from amongst us. Don't think that that devil is just because they are white people. You got people right here amongst this nation that don't want you to know how filthy their affairs are, because if you learn how filthy they are, you will run them from amongst us. But anyway, listen, I come here and I show you everything that I'm presenting. There's no secrets. If somebody says that they have an adverse possession for the school, then guess what? I bet you there's specific names on that adverse possession. Listen, y'all, there's a section right here, a blank sheet with names that have to be placed on this document. So it's not just me. So a board of competent gods and earths, those who have the mental capacity, because we say 85% is slaves of the mental depth and power. But yet, we bring all this information before the 5%, and we sit here and act like we're not mentally competent enough to make things happen.
That's not happening.
So are we slaves of mental depth and power as well? Are we just content with having the knowledge and just puffing our chests up and feeling that the black man is God and stroking our ego? Are we content with that? Because if you're content with knowledge, you will never build anything on that so-called foundation. And another thing is too, guys, I'm going to tell y'all. Nobody needs to be bragging about how long they had this knowledge. Because if you brag about how long you had this knowledge and you ain't got nothing to show for it, stop bragging. It don't matter that you had it for so long. What have you done with it? See what I'm saying? So part of stuff, part of my rant. Let me get back to the degrees. So the permanent population was defined in the understanding degree and then the defined territory was defined in the equality degree. The government, now we go to C, government. Born degree says, what is the said birth record of the Nation of Islam? Answer, said the Nation of Islam has no said birth record, has no beginning in it, what is older than the sun, moon, and stars. Now we know the sun, moon, and stars is a form of governance that we've been governing our nation by. The sun, moon, and star. Man, woman, child, all based on the universal principles of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So now, we also, when we go to the Board of Divine Trusteeship, I give a history of the nation of how he's gone. Please.
Yeah, I was just saying that you might can give us some more clarity if you could provide some examples of where it's worked in the past.
Yes, peace, God. Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to. So now, back in the days when the Father Allah was teaching the non-born, right? He was actually establishing a divine trust through his divine will and his divine wisdom, right? Or his divine knowledge as the truster. So we have the trust law. 3 aspects of trust is the truster, the trustee, and the beneficiary. We look at our flag, that's the sun, the moon, and the star. Man, woman, and child. To make it simple, in a family, right? A man makes money. He takes that money, he grants the money to his woman, she takes the money, gets things for the house, takes care of the babies who are the beneficiaries. That's truster, trustee, beneficiary. We've been living that out all our lives. We just never put it on paper.
Right. So, Messiah, everything you say, you always relate it back to the fact that we are already doing this. And this is the fact. You mentioned...
And Bill, you interrupted me, I'm going to interrupt you.
Because it's important. You acknowledge that we are already doing this. You have done that numerous times. So I want to, because you mentioned that the mathematics is the foundation and it's already laid out, and you show how that mathematics and our learning is also applied to what you say, that it's already there. Now these nations that you speak about that came together to put that convention together, right? Why would we stop what we are already in the process of doing,
Which is what?
building our nation?
We got a nation built.
Well, that's what we're doing. That's why we're here to add on. That's what we continuously do. And we have our mathematics and our alphabet to build that culture so so that the world can see us doing what we do. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no other convention that we have to go out to and structure that. We have to live out our mathematics and our alphabet. It's already done.
God just asked, what has been added to school since the brothers had the knowledge way back in the day?
No, those questions are valid. Those questions are valid. We are still being scrutinized, and you raised some valid questions as well. We are continuously being scrutinized.
I'm not here to talk, I'm here to give solutions.
Okay,
So the solution to that
My question was, why do we need to take another convention?
because
Stand in my brother. Like I said, my water. Stand.
now, Pete, right? Let me finish this one example. I want to get to the 114 and all that, so I'm gonna check it. So the government system is someone start. The D is the capacity to enter into relations with other states. So what does the knowledge cipher degree say? What is the set birth record of nations other than Islam? Christianity included, Buddhism, Christianity. So those are nations other than Islam that we could show our capacity to enter into relations with, just per se, to say that it's there in the lessons. And that's 1 to 10. The 1 to 36, I have some science in there, but I'm going to go to 114 real quick. So I'm going to get to that question, I forget. So the 114 says, and it ain't necessarily important in 114, but dealing with the defined territory. The knowledge degree says, why is the devil set upon the best part? Understanding degree, why did we like half original man, like Columbus discovered the poor part? Power degree, we say why did we take Jerusalem from the devil, how long ago? So we're dealing with defined territory, specific parts of the land. And did y'all know, let's just say we took the city from the devil 750 years ago, but did y'all know in 1948, under the Jewish administration, David Ben-Gurion, who was the head of the Jewish administration, they formed their statehood following the rules of the Montevideo Convention on the rights of the states. And they now have taken the city, Jerusalem, back under their administrative control. So we're talking about 750 years ago what happened. We need to update our information. So in case we didn't know, that took place in 1948. David Ben-Gurion under the Jewish administration. Okay? In case y'all didn't know. So now we also say that our righteous brother was dealing with freedom, justice, and equality. So these are forms of governance, freedom, justice, and equality. So we got the Human Universal Treaty for Peace, Freedom, Justice, and Equality. This treaty right here is 70 pages long, plus or whatever. And we talk about like land rights and state authority and things like that. The state entities will be state entities under state authority. So that means that every member under each region, under this treaty, they will have universal